Welcome back. We come to what many consider the central point of theology. We are studying Christ. It was Karl Barth who said in his church dogmatics, "There are, strictly speaking, no Christian themes independent of Christology, and the church must insist on this and its message to the world." Early on in the same work, he says this kind of idea even more clearly by saying, "If dogmatics cannot regard itself and cause itself to be regarded as fundamentally Christology, it has assuredly succumbed to some alien sway and is already on the verge of losing its character as church dogmatics." Simply put, for Barth, if our theology does not relate to Christ, we've effectively stepped outside of the actual study of theology. The study of theology is Jesus. And so as we dive into this section, the task ahead, I warn you, is profound and daunting. We are actually peering into the eternal made temporal. We're considering the infinite made flesh. To say that there will be mysteries along the way is a profound understatement, so be prepared. Erickson starts his section on the Christological journey with an exploration in the contemporary issues regarding the study. And I need to warn you, I would suggest a very, very careful reading of this section. As much of what is defended in this section and attacked becomes the backbone of the coming sections of Erickson's Christological exploration. So you really need to understand this section. As you read through the quest for the historical Jesus and the incarnation as mythology, recognize that Erickson is not trying to defend these. Obviously, these are false. Rather, he's showing how Christology goes astray when we come to the topic of Christology from the wrong perspective. Hence, his conclusion at the end of this chapter. The next chapter is looking at the divinity of Christ. And notice how this is a logical engagement in light of Erickson's previous chapter. So again, read to understand. Erickson spends some time in the biblical data and then in the terms such as Lord, as well as the evidence of the resurrection. And these all are developed to give a rebuttal to the claims of the Ebionites and the Arians. I would encourage you to study these cases within the early church and understand the controversies well. In fact, read outside of Erickson. It is here that looking at the creeds that were developed in response to these heresies are very, very helpful. And in fact, give us the necessary language to guard ourselves against these same heresies. If I can give you a warning on a side note, in effect, there has been a proto-Arianism that has taken root in evangelical churches, driven by Bruce Ware and Wayne Grudem, called eternal functional subordination. And this effectively at its core is a form of Arianism. And I say this to illustrate that it is so important that our churches be at least familiar with the creeds and the controversies. And in fact, it is vital for ourselves to not just be familiar with the creeds and the controversies, but to actually dive into them. If we are seeking to dispel these heresies, we need to know the language enough to guard ourselves and our people against these heresies. They do come up. So I want to encourage you to take your time with this chapter, to understand it, read to understand. Make sure you are comfortable with Erickson's arguments. Make sure you understand his arguments and his conclusions before you move on to the next sections. So again, as I often do, I encourage you to read carefully, read intentionally, and we'll see you the next time.